This math problem asks us to solve a system of equations. Y equals negative 3x plus 4 and x plus 4y equals negative 6. To solve a system of equations, you want to solve for y, figure out what y is equal to, and you want to solve for x. So the first thing we're going to do is see if our system of equations tells us exactly what one of these variables is equal to. Our first one does. Our first one tells us that y is equals to negative 3x plus 4. That means that we can rewrite our second equation, x plus 4y equals negative 6, but replacing the y with what the first equation says. So let's replace the y with negative 3x plus 4. You should always put this in parentheses, and we're going to bring down the rest of the equation just as is, equals negative 6. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to simplify this equation. To simplify, let's distribute the second part. So x plus, let's distribute the 4 into negative 3x. So instead of plus, we're going to put minus because 4 times negative 3x is negative 12x. So minus 12x. Now, 4 times 4 is 16. Since it's positive, we're going to add it. So plus 16 equals negative 6. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to simplify further by combining our first two terms. X minus 12x is equal to negative 11x. And we'll bring down the rest of the equation just as it's written. Plus 16 equals negative 6. The next thing we want to do is we want to after simplifying, we want to isolate this x. So to isolate the x, first thing we're going to do is subtract 16 from both sides. So now I have negative 11x, 16 minus 16 is 0, equals negative 6 minus 16 is negative 22. So I'm going to come over here to have more space. Negative 11x equals a negative 22 is what we have. The last thing to do to isolate the x is to divide by negative 11 on both sides. So if we divide by negative 11, we get x equals, these two negatives cancel each other out. So we get a positive 2. X equals 2 is our answer. Now that we have what x equals, we can plug that into either one of the equations to find y. I think that it would be easier to plug it into this first equation because then we don't have to isolate the y. It's already isolated for us. So let's write out this equation, but just replacing this x with what we found, which was 2. So y equals negative 3 times 2 plus 4. So now we can just solve as normal. Y equals, first you do the multiplication according to PEMDAS. Y equals negative 6 plus 4. And negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. So our answer will be C because the answer is x equals 2 and y equals negative 2.